What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler. We're back for another video on our Pirates of the Caribbean community series. A community series that airs every other Friday on our channel. In this video, we want to do something a little bit different. We want to talk about if the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie should be a Jack Sparrow origin story. Now, Tyler and I have actually talked about this kind of off-camera a couple times when bringing up ideas for future videos, and it's an interesting idea. A lot of people, obviously, as we've seen from the past videos, very, very much care about Jack Sparrow. There's been books written that aren't canon about Jack Sparrow, about kind of how he did start out. So the question, I guess, would be, is that a path that the movie could take, that the movie franchise could take, even as a spin-off, maybe as like a Star Wars, how they've done the solo films, or they've just done different kinds of things? And I guess I'm asking Tyler, I'm asking you guys at home as well, would you think that a origin story of just a standalone Jack Sparrow movie would be a good idea to go forward with?
Yeah, I do. It's just a matter of how they do it. Like, would they do it where it's kind of like a one and done, almost like a Star Wars Rogue One, where it's like you can't obviously have a sequel after that because the sequel is A New Hope. So you can't really do it where it takes place right before Curse of Black Pearl, because then you'd have to continue to go back, so that would be awkward. And then you also have to think, like, okay, well, if it was around the time period of young Jack in Dead Men Tell No Tales, do you have like before that and it leads into that whole part, and it continues after, or like, so there'd be some questions, I guess, on like how will they pace the movie, because he did so much. And the thing is too, they could technically rewrite his whole young Jack, the history of him. But the question would be, do you make it where it's a one-and-done movie, and it's like, okay, that's all you really needed to know? Or do they do it where, and I should say that when I say that, one-and-done, what I mean is almost literally like The Lion King, where you have a really young Jack, and then throughout the movie he kind of gets a little bit older. They don't even have to change actors, just how he's dressing and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like mini adventures, maybe 3, all in one movie, and they all connect. But so it's kind of like he's growing up into that Captain Jack Sparrow persona. Do they do it like that, or do they do it where it's literally a prequel series, where it's, this is going to be one story, the next movie will be another story. So maybe they could make a new trilogy just from the young Jacks. That would be the question that I have if they were to do that, which it isn't out of the realm of possibility. They could do that in a few years. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if they threw that idea out there already. But that would be my question: is do we have it where it's just one film, or do we have it where it's 2 or 3 films? If you were to ask me, I think I would prefer, honestly, the one film. I'm kind of like back and forth, but I kind of feel like I'd only want the one film, because what I keep thinking about too is, you guys may, if you don't follow video games, you probably won't even really know what I'm talking about, but the Uncharted movies that are in development, it's not, it's Uncharted, but it's not like adult Nathan Drake. That's the main character of Uncharted. It's like a younger one, but it's kind of unclear if it's just if it's like a single origin story of Nathan Drake, and then the movie after that begins the adult Nathan Drake, or if it's going to be multiple young Drakes, and then after that, then here's Uncharted. So that's unclear. But for me, like, if you were to ask me again for that, I would hope that it's only one, because I kind of want to start to get into more like the adult version of Drake. So when we're talking about pirates, I kind of want to see, like, okay, so this is how he became that Jack Sparrow, and I really don't need to know more, because then because then what happens is then we're all going to want to see, like, what about after Dead Men Tell No Tales? Like, if they literally don't continue with that, and if they want to do prequels instead, we'll kind of eventually get to the point where okay, now he's Captain Jack Sparrow, so now we know the rest. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but now I want to see a 6. So I feel like the more that they play with it, no matter what, Johnny Depp's getting older. That's just how time works. So having these prequel movies, it wouldn't be Johnny Depp at all. But eventually we would kind of be like, okay, you know what? Now I just want more Johnny Depp. And by the time let's say they did 3 movies, by the time that would happen, Johnny Depp would be like 87 years old. And obviously he's not going to be Jack Sparrow at almost 90. So it almost would be too much of teasing us where we know we're never going to get what we want. So I feel like a 1 movie where he's growing up throughout it and then being done with it, and now we kind of like, oh, okay, so that's how he became Jack Sparrow. Then you kind of think about it and you're like, man, what a cool character. And this and that. Now we have the whole picture and all that stuff, and it would just that for me would be so much better.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a way of bringing like new life to the franchise. I think it's a different path. Obviously, we've talked a lot about different things over the last several months on this channel about it. And so this is obviously a different path we're going down. But there are advantages to doing things, and even if it's not a Jack Sparrow origin story, and we'll be talking about other ideas for prequels in coming videos. It still is a smart idea to even explore if it's possible, because you could make it a lot of different. Firstly, you have a lot of creative freedom. You can do pretty much whatever you want. You don't have to be tied with Johnny Depp to do it. The budget, it doesn't have to be the biggest film in the world. And again, not having Johnny Depp means you don't have to pay him almost $100 million per film. So you have a lot of extra money to work with. You would probably not be expecting the biggest, return from the movie, but you'd still be expecting, quite a bit. And it would just be a different thing. And we talked a lot about this in past videos where it's like, are people kind of getting tired, or are we even getting tired of the way Pirates is, the way that they film it, the way that just things are, that it maybe isn't really caught up to where other movies are in 2019 or so on, just in the years. And doing this could just be something completely different. You can bring in new writers. You can bring in a new director. You can do a lot of different things that allows them to, again, be creative with what they want to do. And maybe that's their way of catching up, because I think just having that in general, it's like, oh, okay, that's a new path. Like, we wouldn't expect the franchise to go into this. I don't think anybody necessarily would expect the franchise to go into a prequel just at this random time, but it's possible, and it's something I think that they would definitely be keeping in the back of their heads. Maybe they've talked about before, but it definitely, if they want to go kind of the Disney Star Wars route, it's a smart idea to consider doing just these kind of spin-off one-hit movies. And again, like Tyler said earlier, like it could be a Rogue One. Like a Rogue One was a massive hit for Star Wars, and then obviously they buried that into the ground with all the other ones. But you can get lucky and you can actually strike gold with those kind of stories. So it's an interesting idea. So let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think there should be Pirates of the Caribbean prequels in general? And if you do, what do you think about our idea? Do you think there could be a standalone kind of Jack Sparrow origin story for Pirates of the Caribbean? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys are notified when every video on our Pirates of the Caribbean community series goes up. It goes up every other Friday on the channel. So in 2 weeks, we'll have a new video, and we hope to see you guys there.